See, Al, I don't think you know. Al thinks we're doing Ted Baxter.
Well, it triggers me. You trigger me,
right? But
Jimmy, you trigger me.
Do you know the story why we're doing? Do you know why?
It's a joke and from his act.
No.
Oh.
We'll save it. We'll save it for the pod.
Well, we'll save it for the pod.
Harry.
You got a lot of problems, don't you?
Talking dicks. We're talking. We're dicks and we're talking. Talking dicks. Welcome back. We have a guest today, and my partner in Tampa, the other dick, is going to tell us who our guest is.
Well, we're lucky to have him. He's the busiest unemployed comic out there. He's also a cartoonist, illustrator, artist of all kinds, and the man responsible for our logo. I can put it up there. It's on the shirt. It's on the mug. And he's Jimmy Carroll joining us today on Talking Dicks.
Hello, folks.
How are you?
Good to be here, guys.
Hey, man. Just so you know, Jimmy, I'm wearing the T-shirt backwards so we get the full effect.
We don't like that. We don't care for that.
The full effect.
The full effect.
I would have worn mine, but I don't have one. I have no two dicks anything.
That was a screw up on
this is actually
Alfred's
it.
part.
And my wife said that she was going to go mail it for me, and then she left. She left without taking it. But we're going to get it in the mail.
You know what? Sell it, and keep the funds going towards the production. I'm good.
And the mugs are not. They were never a thing. I just made 2 mugs for him and I. We don't actually have mugs. We plan on it at some point, but not yet. So got a little we got a little Mary's coffee in here, if you know what I mean.
I can make my own mug.
That is true. Now, Jimmy, we're going to explain what they're doing. They have, I don't know if they have gas pains or what the deal is, but Jimmy, he's not only an established stand-up comedian for many, many years, but he also has his own company, modernmancomics.com, where he's an illustrator, a cartoonist, if you will. But what is the proper title of what you do there? And they're very, very good. I'm top of the line stuff.
That's mostly cartooning illustration on that website. I run the gambit. I've done animation. I've done fine art. I've done pretty much the whole game. That my background was actually in commercial art, fine art, photography, and I put myself through school doing that, and then worked at Coca-Cola for a year, and decided I wanted to try stand-up comedy, and what a great choice that turned out to be.
Yeah. Who's ever heard of Coca-Cola?
And when did you start stand-up?
That was a good move.
When did you start stand-up comedy? Was it March 15th, 2020?
That's actually what I said. This is it. I'm getting into it. This is the perfect time. I think the comedy boom is coming back. Club seems to be
it's good,
right?
It's good that we can laugh while we just sink and go under.
Now, fill me in on what you were doing which triggered me into doing Ted Baxter from the old Mary Tyler Moore show. You guys go, There's a story. It's Jimmy's story, but Al always echoes it. No.
It's Al. I'm not even in this story. That's what it's just such a great story. Al said it's like you were. I feel like I was there.
Yeah, I always think that you were part of the story now because you took it. It's one of those stories that I was telling Jimmy probably in the crew bar on some ship, and he just took to it, and he just was like he understood it so well that it became part of our lingo. But I did it. It was with Pat Godwin, the comedian. Pat Godwin, and to make it a quick version, we went to radio, and the DJ was just an old washed up DJ now at a country station, and he was drinking some booze out of a coffee mug, and he had a poor girl named Mary as his intern. Her job was Mary, just refill that mug for old Chuck. And then Chuck would go, coffee, Mary.
All right. For some reason, you did tell me a variation of the story on the podcast.
Well, I told that. Yeah,
but it was the short version, and you say we'll get him on. Blah blah blah.
Right. So during the interview, he was insane questions. I mean, Pat's from Philly, so you go, "You're from Philly." What do you know Seinfeld? Seinfeld's from New York. Like, what are you talking about? You know, Pat did a joke about Sonny Bono. I mean, not Bono, Sonny Bono. He did a joke about U2.
Bono, yeah. Bono singing. Yeah, he does Bono singing. It's for sheltered animals.
Right, and then Chuck interrupted and said, "Sonny Bono just died. Not funny." You know, so that just became our running gag. And one of the last times I worked with Jimmy on a ship back in the day, we got on in the compass, the thing, you know, it says the number of shows, whatever, said starring comedians Al Ramos and Jimmy Card. They nailed both of them.
And I'm so proud that Ramos has lived on.
Well, you know, I started calling him Ramos because there's a woman writer in Los Angeles. She's very funny, Vanessa Ramos. So when we were recording our first episodes of The Two Dicks, I accidentally called him Ramos. And he swings the door open and he goes, "It's Romas." Well, anyways, I just want to go over the timeline so that we can figure out exactly what is happening with.
Let me know if you need me, Detective.
Yes, thank you, Detective Ramos.
It's Romas.
And we just kept revived it every episode.
This whole time I thought it was a nod to me.
You know, there's always an homage, Jimmy. And by the way, I was doing a little reading before the pod. A little reading. I don't know if you've seen that one, Alfred.
I have not.
This is a true story. You can knock this one out in about 9 seconds, but it's pretty nice.
It's a children's book that I wrote.
Is that?
So there's no centerfold. It's just
no.
Okay,
no,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was the first children's book that I did. I also did one for Tom Cotter's wife,
Carrie Louise.
Carrie Louise, yeah, and she approached me, and that one
apparently Tom's name was on the check, but go ahead.
No. You can find that one on Amazon. That's Harry the Elephant Has a Peanut Allergy, and that one I'm really proud of the illustrations in it. Now Carrie was she was a joy to work with, and Tom chimed in a couple times, but that was a great project. Sometimes these things don't go great when you working for someone, and usually when you work for a comic they usually go pretty good, but that was a great experience. She's great.
Oh, good. And that's all based on her children having the allergies, I guess, too, right?
Yeah, and it's a cute book. There's humor in it and stuff, and it's about awareness. The Moose book was the one I did before that, and that's proceeds that go to animal shelters. So
that's fantastic.
Good cause. Good stuff. That's a good book.
And,
it's actually
we're animal lovers.
Very
as
nice
well.
book.
I like.
No, you guys are great with dogs.
I like kids a lot, but I love dogs, animals in general.
That sounded a little weird.
It sounded a little Chris D'Elia-ish.
I like kids a lot.
The Two Dicks, though, don't have a great record with dogs, though.
Well, yeah, no. He lived. God damn it.
You know what? I wanted that to be a running joke. I was telling him, I was like, you should have that. Like, you got to keep killing this dog. You know, it's just so wrong.
Tippy.
If we ever shoot again and together, maybe we'll bring it back. Yeah, take another shot at Tippy. Jimmy, I wanted to get a little. We did a herf last week, a cigar herf where Jimmy was on, and I was telling him that his impression. He does an impression of Quint from Jaws, Robert Shaw. Quint from Jaws. I
just changed out of that T-shirt to this one. I was wearing my Quint.
Really?
Yeah.
That's exciting. And but no, that was good, Al. I'm glad you changed. He does this impression of Robert Shaw from Jaws, and he put it as basically around a hell gig. Have you ever done? What was the name of the gig there, Jimmy? I'm blanking.
Betty's Fireside.
Oh yeah,
Betty's Fireside.
The bar. You're like performing on top of the bar.
Yeah, you're on the bar behind the bar. It's a horse bar.
I've done it more than once.
You would step on a milk crate to get. Remember, you had to step on a milk crate.
Yeah.
Actually, step up because the crate was way too high. So you were shoulder level, like your feet were shoulder level to the bartenders you were looking at their backs because they were working in front of you, and then there was the 150 people of just hatred. And
Just playing pool and just using some of the balls,
It was a cash
as
gig.
missiles.
It was a cash gig.
Yeah, it was a cash gig. We all
It was
did
a Wednesday,
but you went
Wednesday
back.
night, Thursday night, or something.
Yeah, I thought it was Tuesday night.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday night. That's right. Yeah, it was like,
And it
I
was
blocked
one of
it all.
those. You dreaded to do it, but everyone did it. And but then you became like, it was funny. Like if you were in the Midwest, and someone would be like, "You're from Philly." Did you do Betty's Fireside?
Right.
Like, you, oh, guys, this guy did Betty's Fireside. You gotta tell us, you know.
Yes.
that was the watermark, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Jimmy, if you would, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I will, just to give us a little taste of the Betty's Fireside version with
What I
Robert
love is
Shaw.
This
as
thing is
Quint.
so inside just the comics and comics that have worked Betty's Fireside.
That's right.
And it's an obscure impression that not many people are going to get. So thanks for limiting it to the point where, like, I have no idea what he's doing. But anyway, it's the scene in Jaws when they're doing the scars, and he goes, "What's that one?" He goes, "Oh, that's nothing, Chief. That's just an old tattoo that I had removed." Don't tell me, mother. Mr. Hooper, that was Betty's Fireside. You worked Betty's Fireside? What is it? Toughest one-nighter on the East Coast, Chief. Sent into Danville, New Jersey to deliver a show. Show went down in less than 15 minutes. First heckler was a 250-pounder. You know, you measure him from the belly button to the asshole. We didn't know our show had been so secret. No promotion had been sent. Didn't even send a flyer in the men's room. So when the spotlight hit the stage, hecklers come cruising. Form ourselves into tight gangs like you see in the Battle of Squares and the counter Battle of Waterloo. The idea being the closer the heckler comes, they start pounding and screaming and hollering. Sometimes that heckler go away.
Oh man!
Anyway,
that is beautiful, and I love. And you got the Dreyfus snickering cadence.
Yeah,
sound, like right in there. Right in there.
Years ago, I loved obscure impressions, and I used to do I was driving the car with the way I used to drive the way nuts. I'm going, suddenly I'm starting to do a Richard Dreyfuss. This is Richard Dreyfuss. I'm doing Richard Dreyfuss. And then you got to do it so you can lock it in. And she's like, would you stop doing Richard Dreyfuss? I go, I can't stop doing Richard Dreyfuss until I get him.
Until you hone right in, and then I can leave it.
Yeah,
but
Quint
until
was one
then,
of those. Was the only voice that I went bought the VHS tape. Am I dating myself? Of Jaws. And I studied. That was the only time that I ever studied a voice to get. And I was like, no one does Quint. So I wanted to do Quint.
That bit, I mean, it is so inside, but it's so goddamn funny. I mean, it's perfect.
I did it. I recorded it. I'll have to get you guys a copy of it if I can dig it up. You heard the copy of that, right?
I saw. I think
you guys are passing it around. Is that where you're like a jerk?
Were you at the Borgata? Was it the Borgata or something backstage somewhere?
Oh, there was that. Joey Cole had asked me to do it, so I kind of did it there. And then, but I actually did an audio version of it. It was like 4 a.m. I was on a Holland America ship, and I was with Mary earlier. And so I did this thing, but I actually produced it, so I had the Quint theme behind it and a creaking boat and stuff. And
I've never heard that.
Oh, you got to send that off.
You got to put that on the Dry Dock Comedy Channel.
There you go. Yeah.
Come on, they're hammering away at it. They're putting it out. Yeah, they're putting it out.
Yeah, they had. I saw the last one.
No, sorry, they're putting it out.
They had 8 views. Yeah. No, good guys. Good guys. Gotcha.
He just loves putting me in the editing room.
That's right. Get in there, you son of a bitch. Are you doing any outdoor, any kind of shows, anything coming up, Jimmy?
Movies,
any of that crap?
I did some joking. did some jokes at the dinner table last night. And
How'd it go?
Nothing.
Did you kill?
Really?
I think it was the crowd. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Well,
you got to work out that new stuff.
Yeah, what were they serving? That makes a big difference too, you know.
Yeah, that's true. We're having porridge.
So how are you handling it now? You're in PA, correct?
I am in PA.
And you're hunkered down. How's it going for you? Like, have you?
I haven't gotten out from under the bed, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Staying safe.
I go through. I go through stages. I think Al does too. It's a roller coaster of, just dealing with it and wondering what's happening next and not giving a shit, and then anxiety, and then it dissipates. I don't know.
You know what? I was watching one of your episodes. You guys were talking about it, and I'm laughing because I'm going to feel the same way. After 35 years on the road, I'm okay. Yeah, you kind of go at some point. I got mortgage payments to deal with, but I'm trying to do some other things on the side right now. Trying to get another little business up and running. So we'll see.
Little side hustle.
Yeah, it's I got a real fascination for like special effects and that kind of stuff, makeup, and the haunt industry. And so I've been doing it's up, but there's nothing going on there on boneheadfactory.com. And
okay,
I'm sculpting things, and they'll be.
Well, yeah, you always have a bunch of projects sculpting, and weren't you doing? What were you talking about at the Herv? You were doing some hockey. Was it a goalie mask? Or?
Yeah, I did it for a buddy of mine. That's on my Facebook page. A buddy of mine that I went to high school with is still skating, and he had gotten a hold of me as soon as I got home from my last ship and said, "Hey, I think you have some time. Would you want to try tackling this?" So it was an airbrush job. It was a major undertaking, and it was good. It turned out really good though, and that was my first goalie mask that I've ever airbrushed. And
that's cool.
I might do some more of those, So
can you send me a picture, or do you want to? Or
yeah, I could probably send you some pictures of that. That was it was amazing because he had a daughter that passed, and he wanted her on there, and his brother had passed, so there was heavy stuff on this thing. That
maybe we'll skip you sending those to us.
No, it's turned out.
It's very nice. That's nice stuff.
He's very positive about all this stuff. So
good. Good.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
good guy.
So you personally, you're being creative because you have that other creative side to you. Whereas I'll speak for myself. I got nothing going on besides this podcast. I'm like, what am I doing? Al's already got 4 gigs on the books. I'm like, I'm just getting cancellations every couple of days. I get
but now Florida's spiking again. I'm expecting these gigs to fall apart any minute. I don't know what's happening now. You know what I mean? I'm working next Wednesday through Saturday in Port Charlotte, and then I have a gig in July, 2 gigs or 3 gigs in July. But I don't know. Now I was going to go to New York and see my buddy in July. See my buddy John. He sent me a thing today saying Cuomo's thinking of taking out flights from Florida. Not allowing them into New York. We good, Alfred?
It said we're running out of time.
Oh, Zoom time.
Yeah.
The old Zoomer. So anyway, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what's happening gig-wise, Florida. I think we might have opened a little too fast, and
so
now we're going to pay the price.
You think Southern Florida is kind of closed up right now?
Seemingly a little bit. I guess they're looking at it, but flights from Florida may not be allowed into New York.
Wow.
As of what I've reading today. So yeah.
And Jimmy, what about PA where you are? Are you Eastern?
Yeah, we're Eastern, but it's completely shut down. So, I mean, we're not. There's no comedy. There's nothing going on right now.
Well, you better get that airbrushing up off the ground.
Planning on.
But I assume October is going to be September. October is going to be big for you with Halloween with your new venture.
We'll see. Hopefully that's why I'm trying to make product right now. So
right.
The website, like I said, it's just literally. It's a structure that's up. There's no product or anything up there, but yeah, it might be time to pivot on the industry. So, because who knows what's going on?
Right.
No one knows. No one knows. That's the thing. Nobody knows. Everyone's got an idea, but it doesn't mean anything. Everything's. It's just fluid. It's changing all the time. So they were saying August 1st, ships are going to be going. It's not happening. We're not going out August 1st.
The people that are sick, and you know, at some point we do have to move forward here, you know. And it seems like
I would think
backwards way. We're doing it the backwards way, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Plus all the
rather hang out with just hang out at home with Mary.
All the information, Mary. All the information we get, everything contradicts the last information you had. Who do you believe? Or what to believe?
I don't know. I don't believe, man. That's the thing. I don't believe.
During all the protests, they didn't talk about this, but now that the protests, all of a sudden, now we're back to COVID. You know what I mean? There was no spikes. There was no charts. There was nothing. It was like, that was perfectly okay for thousands of people to be in the street. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, hey, wait a minute. Everyone needs to go back under the bed.
Well, that's why I feel for people that conspiracy theories may be something to think about. I can't blame them, or whether you can believe your own government or your neighbor. I mean, who knows? We don't know.
I believe my neighbor. I like what I believe my neighbor. Crazy old conspiracy theorists, you know.
I get my news.
I do have my mask. I do wear my mask just as a precaution. I know there's a lot of people that are like, no, I'm not wearing a mask. I don't believe it. So.
Well, the mask thing, I don't know. I wear it to make other people comfortable if I go there. But first of all, you can get sick wearing it. And Fauci talked about that, where he's like, you know, remember him in the beginning? This isn't anything to really worry about.
Well, they're always changing. They're always changing the stories.
He said, don't wear masks. You're going to get sick if you wear masks. And then all of a sudden, now we got to wear masks.
That's because they were short on masks and they didn't want everybody hoarding them, which they did anyways, just like toilet paper. And then when there was enough masks, they're like, put on a mask. Just cover your face. It doesn't even have to be a mask. They say it cuts down whatever it is, 60, 70% of spreading it if you have it without symptoms. So put on a mask. It's
become like the gun issue now. You know what I mean? Like people are pro-gun or anti-gun. Right. People are pro-mask or anti-mask. And if you're not wearing a mask, some guy will look at you like, hey, fuck you, where's your mask? And then if you wear one, you get another look from a guy going, hey, what are you, pussy? Why are you wearing a mask?
Yep.
Can't win.
So
I stay home and I get some coffee from Mary.
Under the bed.
I have my booze delivered. Well, Jimmy, how can we find you? We're going to put up all your information here, your websites, blah blah blah.
There is jimmycarroll.net is one of them, or thelastoftheboomers.com or modernmancomics.com. That you'll see some of my, and of course I haven't updated the cartoons. So I'm doing on Facebook. I'm trying to do this Modern Man Mondays. So
every Monday we get a new one. It's good.
And
good deal.
We hope to, if you're interested, we hope to have you on an episode of the Two Dicks when we get back up and running. And I believe you were tentatively going to be on an episode when we're in Atlantic City. Is that true, Al? Or wasn't it supposed to be our dear late friend Jeff?
It was
Fat.
Well, the idea. Yeah, the idea originally was going to be Jimmy Carroll, John Consoli, and Jeff Parami, which would have been just tremendous, obviously, but never really happened, obviously, again. But we'd love to anytime.
I would love
to get Jimmy in there.
As long as there's some coffee.
Well, we also have to try to coordinate it where if we can all work together, close together.
Yeah.
Work.
Because
work.
Otherwise, Al's going to have to use his PPP money, your unemployment money, to pay for his round trip ticket.
My unemployment money?
If
Haven't you been getting unemployment since day one? You've been getting unemployment in the middle of March. You were pulling it in.
I have a lot of overhead.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Jimmy has 2 daughters who went to out-of-state schools.
Yes. Did I mention that on this?
You have not. That's why I thought I would drop it in before it's over.
Yeah.
Homeschooling.
Apparently, there were no colleges in the state of Pennsylvania good enough for my children.
All right. I think we're going to wrap it up here, boys. Okay. Jimmy, thanks for taking the time. Now, is it Jimmy, Jim, James? What do you prefer? Jimmy is your stage name. Your preferred
Jimmy Card.
Jimmy Card. The problem with it was when I first started, I always went by Jim, but people would call me Jimmy. Then you had nicknames and different stuff. But the problem was there was Jim Carroll, the Jim Carroll Band.
Yeah, those are
Right.
people who die.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I would get to a club and they were like, "Do you do poetry?" And I said, "Anything that I rhyme, rhymes with Nantucket." So I would say probably I wouldn't say no. And then there was this Jim Carroll, Karol, the psychic madman. So I just went with Jimmy Carroll, and so that's.
And it's worked out. Look at that.
there's always
40
a
years
story.
later, you're not working.
That's why I brought it up. There's always going to be a story.
Yeah, I'm under the bed in Pennsylvania, and that's what that Jimmy Carroll got.
All right, on that note, thanks again for coming on The Talking Dicks.
Thank you, Jim.
Really enjoyed the series.
Oh,
I don't have
Thanks, man.
This is my mug that I don't have.
Clink!
Subscribe, Mary.
Mm.